What did happen to the last 10? I ran away with my life, fast forward, never turn back again. It's kind of funny that the more we pass time, the more we need to set the rewind. And 19 was the year I had to leave you, but now I'm seeing all the signs. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours again. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 get something from nothing. I sit here looking for an answer. Maybe the biggest question was in the last chapter. You gave me the soul I have today. Without you I never could have moved away. But now I see what you teach. I do believe I always should have stayed. Yeah. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours again. One day I'll be yours. One day I'll be yours. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 get something from nothing. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 get something from nothing. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 get something from nothing. Life changes just open the door. One thing's certain, I'll always be yours. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours. Yeah. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours.
Hello all and welcome back to another plan with me. This one is going to be for the week of August 25th through through the 31st. This was the week that I started my new job, which I mean, I'm still working there, so I guess something's okay. I was not at all prepared to start this video. I did originally film this as a talk through, or like this part as a talk through, but I'm sitting here listening to myself just talk about nothing. And so I figured I would just condense the material and we would just, we'd just move on. So Monday, I'm marking that I was super, super anxious. On the Monday prior, I had woken up with a nasty headache. And so I ended up taking some medication and ended up sleeping in until like 11 o'clock. And I get an email, or actually it was after 11. I get an email. I woke up to an email and a missed call with a voicemail so the email was from the principal of the school that I'm working at, and the missed call was from his secretary, which is like my supervisor basically. And they were like, hey, we really need you to confirm that you are indeed accepting this job, so that we can, because basically what they needed to do was get me onto the agenda for the school board meeting that was happening that day in order to get me approved to start the job. And so I like I said, I woke up at 11 and they were like, we need you to confirm by 10:30 that you are going to do this. And like, I just completely obviously missed the deadline. And so I had spent just the entire week just like, because they never got back to me about anything. And so I was just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And so I go in Monday morning and my supervisor was like, well, did they contact you about starting? And I was like, no, should they have? Because they had told me that the 25th was going to be my first day. And I'm like, I'm not going to not show up. I'm like, I told her, I said, if you want me to leave, I'll leave. But I was like, I'm just not going to not show up. Because, then they're like, okay, we told you this was your first day. So I ended up just sitting in her office for a couple of hours, which it kind of irritated me afterwards because I found out that Wednesday, the person I was replacing, or the person I did replace, her last day was Wednesday, in our area, or no, yeah, it was Wednesday. And so they were basically wanting me to sit with her in order to kind of train and, start that process. And so they're just like, oh, well, why are you here on Monday? And I'm like, okay. So, but that's a story for another day. But anyways, so yeah, Monday, I was super anxious. First day at work. I came home and did some editing. I cooked dinner on this evening. I made a baked cod with like a panko topping. I've made it before. And then I did take the trash out and do some reading. Tuesday, I went to work. I read. There's a dog named Jake. He's co-owned by the superintendent and then the school resource officer, but he's technically I guess he's registered technically to the school, but the people that he lives with the school resource officer. His name is Jake. Anyway, he came to visit. This was the first day that I got to meet Jake. Jake comes in several days a week. He just comes in with our school resource officer. But it was nice to meet him officially. And then, of course, I started my period on Tuesday evening. I made some banana muffins, and I did mark that Taylor and Travis got engaged. Though I will admit wholeheartedly, I don't give two rat's asses about a lot of celebrities and their existence. Like, they're humans just like the rest of us. But I can appreciate something. I can appreciate two people who found love. And I think that, I don't know, maybe everyone says it's a publicity stunt, but I don't think it is. Wednesday, I woke up to a deposit in my bank account from Hachette, which is the board game company that I volunteer with at Gen Con. They must have released our funds for us to get paid. Wednesday, I went to work, had a headache. This was the day that the shooting in Minneapolis at that Catholic school happened. And then I did finish a book called Down Among the Dead Men, and I went to bed early because I was just exhausted. Thursday, I made myself a cup of coffee before I went to work. Now I'm caught up with myself. Maybe I should have sped this up a little bit more. I went to work. What am I stepping on? Oh, a pen. Sorry if you can hear my chair squeaking. I went to work, and then I did start a new book called The Paradise Problem. This was a Christina Lauren book. It was all right. I took my niece to Goodwill with me because I wanted to try and find some, because I'm like, I really just don't have, I'd gotten rid of a lot of my nicer shirts, because I was wearing them at the hospital when I was working there, and then of course they switched us over to uniforms. So I decided to check out our local Goodwill, which actually turned out quite successful because not only did I buy several new shirts, but I also ended up finding a brand new, it was out of the shrink, but it was not opened in any other way, the Great British Bake Off game, which I have seen. There's a web series on YouTube called Beer and Board Games, and they had actually played the Great British Bake Off game, and it looked really fun, so I was excited about that. And then I did go to Walmart. I ended up getting into a little bit of a disagreement with my niece because she was mad. She said, I only got 2 things and you got 3 things. And I said, yes, and I also paid for those 3 things. So had to have a conversation with her about that. But anyways, Friday I went to work. I had coffee and then I went to work. I did do some more reading, and then I had to pay off some of my credit card. I had a Discovery Plus binge. I think this was the evening. I came home, my mom texted me and she was like, do you want to go out for dinner? And I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. And then I got home and I was like, I don't want to go anywhere. But my sister and her boyfriend and my niece and everybody, they were just like, we're waiting on you. And I'm like, you guys go. I just will stay home. So I ended up just door dashing some greasy food and had a Discovery Plus binge. I was watching Food Network. That's pretty much that's the only TV programs I will watch consistently anymore. I'm just a weirdo. Had some puppy snuggles and then I just went to bed. I went to bed super early. I think I ended up going to bed at 7:30 on this night. It was kind of crazy. On Saturday, I had coffee and YouTube. That's pretty much how I've been starting out my weekend mornings, is just coffee and YouTube unless I have something to do, which, and then went to Bob Evans with my mom for lunch, and then we did go to Marshall's. I was trying to find stuff for my desk, and it just did, there was just nothing there. Marshall's is not great. TJ Maxx is where it's at. I'm sorry. No offense to Marshall's, but TJ Maxx is where it's at. And then we did go to Goodwill and I got a few more clothing items just because, like I said, I just didn't have any dress shirts. I got rid of a lot of them. We did also go to Walmart and then I had to get gas. And marked being annoyed, and I'm trying to remember why. I'm assuming it probably had something to do with my brother, because it always does. I did laundry and then we went to bed early. Most of these icons, I will admit to you, are from Flat Icon, just stuff that I've downloaded for myself and made into a sticker. But if you are wondering about a specific sticker, please let me know in the comments below and I will let you know where a specific sticker is from. I always leave links down in the description box of shops in order of appearance, but I know sometimes it's not always clear which sticker comes from which shop, especially because there are obviously multiple stickers and I'm only leaving a certain amount of links. So anyways, Sunday was a very productive day. So I also missed a couple of scripts on Friday. Those will be put in, so hopefully I'll be able to get those printed off and then you guys will be able to see those in the thumbnail. But I make no promises. But I started off Sunday morning with coffee and YouTube again. I had some planning time and then I did laundry, or I continued working on laundry. I won't say I finished it because I probably didn't. And then I did weigh in. I don't consistently weigh in. And now the battery died on my scale, so I just have not weighed in for a while. I have been hovering around the same weight for a very long time. So I also did update my Tomb Raider, Crypt of Kronos pledge. This was a game that I backed on. This is a Kickstarter game. It's obviously based on Tomb Raider. And the cool thing is it actually has legit, what I would consider legit Tomb Raider stuff, which always makes me happy. Did clean the bathroom, cleaned my desk, watered my plants. I was super pissed off again. I don't know why. We went to Walmart. I did some food prep. I couldn't tell you what I prepped up. And then we had some drinks and played some games on the patio, and I was just up super duper late because Monday was Labor Day and I didn't have to go to work. So yeah, that is the finished spread. Everything I had left over. Thank you all so very much for watching, and until I see you next time, bye bye.